Do you remember the status of the various streetscapes out on Cypress Gardens Boulevard, Havendale, in the downtown area, up First Street and all those? There really weren't any, if you recall that. If there was, they were very, very skimpy. They've all been redone. During the period 2000 until now, the city has invested over $130 million in improvements in the community's infrastructure. Part of that definitely was bond financing. If you actually check, you'll find that in 2007, the cities had on the books about $57 million worth of debt or bonds issued and monies owed. Since that time, that has increased to $94 million. So while that's been up, we've accomplished doing over $130 million to date of capital improvements, infrastructure investment in the community. Of that amount, the bulk of it is in the city's utility system. Remember the Garden Grove purchase? The first few years after the city bought the system and borrowed the money to do so, it did not make principal payments on that debt. And so it was a stretch at that point in time for the city to buy the system. But again, from a long-term business point of view, that's what has set the stage for all of the city's annexation and our ability to move forward. Can anyone tell me where you think the city's boundaries are today? And sometimes we're not sure ourselves, just to be honest with you. It's a real challenge for our police and firefighters and our city employees sometimes, because we have been very aggressive on the annexation, again, taking that from 23 square miles to 40 square miles and rising. But down on Highway 60 in the area of the Peace Creek Canal, that's actually, when you go through that area, you're in the city of Winter Haven. We're well south of that. To the east, we're bumping Highway 27 in a number of areas. Carlton Arms is part of the city. In Dundee, just south of what I call, I think it's not a TCO substation. I believe it's that other company, Progress Energy, there on US 27. The city limits of Winter Haven are basically right in that general area, south and along Highway 27. And what we've tried to do, just like in your business, you deal with market share and trying to get control of a particular area, the city has been no different. That's our market area. That's where we have the ability to provide water and sewer services, police and fire services, where we generate franchise fees, utility taxes, and those kinds of things. So that's where we were then. From a water customer account point of view, back in 2000, the city had just a little over 23,000 utility customer accounts. Today we have about 30,500. Again, that's the expansion, and again, remember, less employees now than we had back in the 2000 time period. A couple of other things that I think are particularly worthy of note, if you look at the city's taxable property value back in 2000, it was $814 million was the total value of the taxable property in the city of Winter Haven. More recently, it's $1,938 million, and that's after we basically took a $277 million hit in reduction of taxable value with this year's budget. And that translates, as you well know, into substantial lost revenue for the city. On an annual basis, when you look at our budget and where we are, the current year budget is $102 million. Last year was $117 million, and I'm probably thinking that when we look at the next year's budget, we'll probably come in closer to $85 to $90 million. So once again, the rubber band is getting tighter and tighter on us, and we're having to find ways to efficiently provide the services and alternative ways of providing services. The millage rate now, anybody want to take a guess on that? Pat? Oh, come on. Help me.
Help me.
Yeah. The millage rate that was adopted in this year's budget is $5.79 a thousand of the net, ultimately the taxable value. In 2000, it was 6.32 so we came down about a half a mil during that same period of time. The general fund balance for 2000, Jay, I think this was audited, $3,843,000. The current unaudited one is $9,589,000. So we've almost tripled it during this 8 or so 9-year period. The general fund available reserve in 2000 was $1,783,000. The one now, and that what we mean by available reserve is cool, hard cash that you can spend, is now $7,909,000 is the unaudited number for this year. Just to give you an idea of how we've done things, and another number that kind of gives me the buzz factor, in 2000, the invested cash was $39,446,000. Pat, you want to take a shot at 2009? It's a good number.
It's a good number.
It's a good number.
90.
Oh, it's not that good. Will you be our auditors?
It's not audited. You can say whatever you want.
Very good. My gosh, when the IRS calls, you're my man. Absolutely. That's if I have any money to claim. The invested cash now is $65,997,000. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah. Another good number that we like to have people clearly understand, because we have a lot of folks in the community that wonder how we do what we do with the money we have. And the short answer is we spend it wisely. We take in more money now because we've been aggressive on growth and taking care of business. In 2000, the state and federal grant income or dollars that the city brought in was $1,347,000. Okay, who wants to take a guess on this one? Let's see. Likely victim. Mike Mahal. Help me.
Don't have a clue.
Neither do I.
25 million?
I wish. I wish. That would be super. I would be doing my best as a short, fat guy to do backflips and for that. The actual number is $7,008,000. And when you equate that to millage revenue, that's about 3/4 of all the money that comes in ad valorem tax revenue for the year. So again, that's a pretty decent offset when you look at where we are. The city utility service area, remember I briefly alluded to some of our boundary areas and where we're providing service. It's around 75 square miles in total. And that's an estimate when we look out there in Never Land, so to speak. The overall position of the city for the future, very simply, and I need to check the time because I think we're fine. Very good. I'm about halfway, right? Sorry. I'll have to make up some stuff then. Right, boss? Other boss? It's tough. It's tough.